3 minutes or less, so that everyone who wants to speak has a chance. This meeting tonight is also for you to get all the honest information about what is proposed and how it will affect us. I won't go into all the bureaucratic mumbo-jumbo, misleading information, bait and switches, and bullying tactics, since I think most of us here are already aware of that. I can tell you, though, that we have done our research through countless hours of extensive research and through freedom of information requests. Hours and grueling hours reading that awful stuff. We have found that each stakeholder, and there are many, is interested in their little piece of the action, and they fail to see the big picture and the domino effect this road will have. Mary Ann Gaban and Philomena Hefter will be sharing with you our findings and our concerns and conclusions. VDOT and the Commonwealth Transportation Board and the Chamber of Commerce will tell you that this road is a done deal. They're trying to misdirect, mislead, and fast-track us into thinking it's a lost cause. But I am here to tell you that it is not true. You have heard the increasing public outcry and dissatisfaction. We will not be bushwhacked, and we will not be thrown under the bus. You have seen the increased media coverage as interest and public awareness widens. You have heard many of our state legislators tell Richmond that they are not buying what they're selling. The momentum is building. We must keep the pressure on. The call to action handout you all received when you came in the door tells you things that you can do, how you can help. I would like to read to you an email that I received a few days ago, and it goes like this. My husband, Tom Butzner, has been retired for several years, and his family and friends know that he likes to sleep in every morning. But they also know that when he is passionate about his family, friends, and situations that he feels are an injustice, he will go to any length to help. We are one of the many citizens of Prince William and Loudoun County that will be directly impacted by the proposed Tri-County Parkway. If the proposed parkway is approved, in addition to losing our access to our church, Sudley United Methodist, the residents who depend on Route 234 to get to Manassas and Route 66 would be forced to take an alternate route many miles out of their way. Citizens are dedicating their time and effort to stopping the construction of this senseless road because they know that building this road will cause so many of their neighbors to lose their homes, destroy our neighborhood transportation system, and change the rural crescent life we all moved here to enjoy. Like many others, we took some of the lawn signs, letting citizens know that this road is being considered for construction and what a negative impact it would have on the residents. Instead of putting the sign on our lawn, Tom, my husband, decided at 6:30 this morning, despite the fact that he broke his leg 2 weeks ago, to get up and stand in the pouring rain in the driveway of Sudley Church until 9:45, holding one of the signs protesting the construction of the Tri-County Parkway. Tom here. And his wife says, I am so proud of my husband. I'm asking everyone who does not want to see the Tri-County Parkway built to get involved in helping to stop the road construction by saying no to the Tri-County Parkway. There are better ways to handle this traffic. Stand up and be counted. Make your voices heard. Signed, Judy Butzner. I would also like to recognize some other people who have given extraordinary time and effort to the battle, and I'd ask that each stand. Mac Haddock.
They have to come out.
Oh.
Hey, Mac.
Thank you, Mac. Judy and Kat.
Come here a minute.
Come here. Yeah, you.
You.
Judy.
Come in here. Kat.
No, just you. Come in. Judy and Kat have been doing all kinds of stuff, mainly getting out those tip-filled dishes, putting up signs, which I refuse to do.
Board of Supervisors meeting.
Oh yeah, they've been speaking out a lot. Also, Alan Johnson, He's done a lot to help us. And where is Ken Carr? Is he out there?
He's out there too.
Ken?
Ken, heads up.
Just reach in and wave.
That's
It's
it.
Ken Knar. Semper Fi, Ken. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Take a stand. Be counted. Let your voices be heard. Stop this road." My pages are all crinkled up. I'd like to introduce some other thoughtful, committed people who fight beside us and fight for us. Delegate Ken Hugo. Supervisor Peter Canlon. And Delegate Bob Marshall. We'd like to hear from each of them and ask that they limit their comments to 3 minutes. But first, let's tell everybody what we think. Do we want longer commutes?
No!
Do we think we are being given a fair shake?
No!
Do we want this road?
No!
Thank you. And we do have a timekeeper there.
It's like in church, blessed be the brief, and maybe you get invited back. Thank these three ladies here, Phil and Mary Ann Taylor. They're the ones that grabbed me first and said, "You need to look at this. This is wrong, and you need to take a peek at it and see what you can do." And so let me say thank you. I'm standing here because of three of y'all. I can't thank you enough because this fight is the right thing to do. And look, I'm the delegate, I'm the majority caucus chairman, I'm supposed to be all business all the time, and I am for the business community. But our business community friends, some of them are a little upset with me now. But I said, look, this is not the right thing to do because what you're doing is going to impact people's lives. What you're doing is going to impact people's quality of life, and it's going to impact their property values, and that's the reason they moved out here. And we're going to stop this right now. And like I said, we'll keep it brief, and you've got great stories here, and these guys have just done a great job. And I hope y'all too, we had people from Fauquier out here the other day. We had Jill Vogel, we had Michael Weber, Dick Black was out here. Peter couldn't be here, so he sent his wife and baby out here to the press conference to be with us. Robin was out here. And like I said, we're gonna make this fight, and because the story keeps evolving about why they want to do it. I have made the point that when you close 29, it is a disaster for the quality of life for every commuter on 66. I've made the point, now they're saying, oh, we won't close it for a few years. Well, that's not what they were saying. That's not what they were saying just a couple weeks ago. But what they do say still is, yeah, we want to close it. Oh, but we'll just put traffic calming on 29. So traffic calming is a de facto closing of 29. We'll make that road so useless, so hard to travel that everybody will have to go on 66. And that's what we're saying. If it's going to be a disaster, when you close 234, when you close 29, it is a disaster from Fauquier to Fairfax. And for every commuter on 66. So I'll keep fighting. These guys will keep fighting. These ladies will keep pushing us. If we ever get tired, we get the phone call from them saying, get up, let's go. You're not going to let down now, buddy. So, well, truthfully, I'm afraid of the three of them. So I just do what I'm told. But I'm a private in these ladies' army. But look, we've got to do this. We've got an opportunity. But the opportunity is what's necessary is for all of us to stand up and fight. And all of us to stand up and say this is wrong. And all of us to let our other elected representatives know this is a problem, to speak out. And so thank you for coming tonight. We'll be here. I know we've got so many of you that were recognized. Jim Rich, our former CTB member, was at the Committee of 100 the other night, made nice comments. Jim right there, thank you. But all of you, I will tell you this, we will keep the fight up. If you haven't seen, we've got press from the Washington Post to Channel 9 to Channel 4. The fight starts tonight. The fight continues. God bless.
Well, thank you very much. I decided not to send my wife tonight to speak. I heard that I heard that there were going to be television cameras there, and so I figured I'd spare everyone having me on the camera and send my beautiful wife. I'd like to thank all of you for coming tonight. I'd like to thank the three of you for really spearheading, and all of you who have put in a lot of time and effort. Tim is a humble person. But he really, in my understanding of this project, really led the way with his opposition of this. I remember it being sometime not far after the election, and he asked me, what did I think about the Tri-County Parkway? Because he thought it stunk. He thought something was wrong, and we needed to figure it out. And you know something? He was absolutely right. So I think let's give him another round of applause, because he really has been fantastic. And I come from a family of 10 kids, and I'm the second youngest of 10 with 5 older brothers. And I got picked on quite a bit when I was younger. And finally my dad came to me and said, listen, Peter, you're going to keep on getting picked on. You're going to keep on getting run over unless you stand up and fight for yourself. And right now I feel like this is our opportunity as the western end of this county, as Prince William County, to stand up and to fight this thing. The more and more we've done our homework, the more and more we've done our research, things just aren't adding up like they said they were going to. When I first started running for office, I met with a lot of officials about this road. And this was going to be an economic boom for Prince William County. This was going to be a faster way to get to and from the airport. We're not going to close down 29 and 234. This is going to be 15, 20 years from now that this is going to be built. To allow 66 time to catch up. Every single one of those points has been proven to be wrong. I don't like being pushed around. I don't like being told. You know, that's one thing that when I've been on the Board of Supervisors, if I've seen something that I felt was wrong, I made my voice known. And that's what I'm doing here. And I will continue to work, continue to fight with these gentlemen here, with these ladies here, and with all of you to make sure that we are represented, that our voices are heard here in the western end of the county. And I just want all of you to know that I'm planning on standing shoulder to shoulder with all of you to make sure that we are heard and to make sure our views are represented. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming here. Senator Black had a prior commitment. He regrets not being able to be here, but in the spirit of camaraderie, he yielded his 3 minutes to me.
Quite a politician.
Number one, we've got to think like our opponents, but not for our opponents. They've been doing so many bait and switches that I am a little bit curious and cautious as to how they're going to proceed. We cannot put all our eggs in the one basket of simply being opposed to shutting 29 and 234, because they're liable to relent on that temporarily in order to get this other road going through. So we have to look at a broader picture, and it's been a point of mine for years that you can't beat something with nothing. If the effort is to get over to Dulles Airport, we have to find a cheaper way to get some better movement over to Dulles Airport, which can be done without condemning anybody's land, without any delays at all, if you simply had, instead of a one-lane exit at the Route 28 and 66 interchange, a two-lane exit. That's already VDOT land. You don't have to condemn anything. You then go down to Walney and to, Walney and Braddock Roads, and kind of like do the reverse of what was done in the city of Manassas going over the train. You simply have the lanes of 28 go over that road right there. Doesn't require any condemnation, just requires a little bit of thought. It'll get people over to Dulles Airport very fast, if that's the goal. If that's not the goal, the people who are for this will not be pushing this. Now, we are at a little bit of a disadvantage because we're not in session. And the reason I say that is because when I found out that this is now, once again, part of a bigger, broader outer beltway, in the 1990s, I forget the year, Senator Chichester, who was ranking minority leader, put an amendment on the budget prohibiting VDOT from proceeding this way. He had to have the support of Chuck Colgan. Chuck Colgan is a senator. He doesn't represent this area anymore, but I suspect he would be sympathetic having once done that. But since we're not in session, we can't do that, so we have to operate outside of that arena. I wrote a letter to Sean Connaughton asking him, and I'm going to undermine some of their assumptions. This area was designated a corridor of statewide significance. It's my understanding that never has this been done in the history of Virginia unless there was a pre-existing road already there. So additionally, I asked him after consultation with our former CTV member here, what data was given to the Commonwealth Transportation Board to justify in your minds anything like this? I'm told nothing was given. If I can show that this is a rush to judgment, it's going to be undermining some of the confidence that they have. I'm going to ignore this sign up here. But you need to contact other of your friends around Prince William, because at some point, the Board of Supervisors has to vote to shut the roads. If they don't do this, that is throwing some roadblocks in the way. Additionally, I talked to the Vice President for Corporate Affairs for UPS, which was represented at this school here, at the earlier meeting that was held by Peter and Tim, that they were for this road. The Vice President for Corporate Affairs never heard of the road and resents the fact that VDOT officials were using UPS's name in support of this. So I don't trust anything they're doing. We just have to stay one step ahead of them. So you need to contact your friends around Prince William to tell them to write their supervisors to not support shutting this road. That's step one. If we can do this long enough, we can kill it when we get into session next year. Thank you very much.
Before I start, I'd like to thank Mr. Rich for coming. He's a former CTV member, and he helped me out when I was trying to get trucks off the road back in the 90s, like 1995, and it didn't happen until in 2000 sometime. I'd like to thank him. And Stuart Schwartz from Coalition for Smarter Growth. He is one of the ones that has been sitting in the programmatic agreements with us, but it's one of those things. My name is Philomena Hefter. I'm a 32-year resident of Pageland Lane. There have been some comments on Facebook page that have said that we only brought up the Pageland Lane issues. Briefly, I want to explain the nature of the beast. The Section 106 programmatic agreement is required by federal law for the National Historic Preservation Act. And therefore, it has to be done for the historic resources, the Manassas National Battlefield Park, and the Historic District. Some of the folks that sat around the table were only there. They've had 5 meetings since 2006. It wasn't until after the Commonwealth Transportation Board adopted resolutions for the Tri-County Parkway in 2005 and the Battlefield Bypass in 2006 that VDOT began to have meetings. The programmatic agreement is only for that historic properties along the TCP route. In this case, it's from I-66 to Artemis along Pageland Lane. The first meeting was in May 2006, and in attendance was a representative of the former Gainesville Supervisor's Office, a former planning commissioner, Prince William County archaeologist, and a transportation planner, a Loudoun County planner, engineers and consultants from Virginia Department of Transportation, and representatives from National Park Service, Virginia Department of Historic Resources, they're another person that has to sign the programmatic agreement, and the Federal Highway Administration, who actually needs to sign the agreement. They have to all those are the main players, National Park Service, Historic Resource, and Federal Highway. Also at that meeting were members of 3 Civil War groups, 1 citizen along the Battlefield Bypass route, and a representative of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. The next meeting was in October 2007, and some of the same attendees were there. Loudon did not have a representative, but the Coalition for Smarter Growth came to sit in with the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Subsequent meetings were also attended by the Coalition for Smarter Growth, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, Southern Environmental Law Center, and Piedmont Environmental Council. And together they came to be known as the Coalition. So whenever there's a comment from VDOT or National Park Service, they mention the Coalition. At a meeting in November 2010, discussion was about the historic resources, archaeological findings, and about moving the TCP onto the battlefield side, which would require closing down the intersection of Pageland Lane and 29. VDOT states that the basis for the first draft of the programmatic agreement was that November 2010 meeting. The draft was put out in July 2012, and they started discussing closing down 234 through the battlefield. At that meeting, there were a few more citizens along the battlefield bypass route, and Marianne Gabin got involved then. Former Gainesville supervisor was out of office in 2012, therefore the Gainesville Planning Commissioner was not present. The Coalition and the Civil War groups were there, and they became more vocal because they not only wanted 234 closed, but we're talking about 29 as well. After reading the minutes of this meeting, Paige Snyder and I got involved. When I asked to be a consulting party member to the programmatic agreement, I inquired, why wasn't Paige Snyder notified, since her property is in the Battlefield Historic District? The response was, they didn't know how to notify her. Apparently VDOT and the National Park Service did not want the citizens of the area involved in this process. As the meetings and discussions progressed, we realized the issues were greater than those of Pageland Lane, and as an ever-widening ripple effect will take place both throughout and outside of our community. I am here to address one of the worst effects this road will have on all of us, traffic and commuting. The commuter traffic attack. Can you go to the next slide, please? Can you get the light? Yeah, yeah, Mac attack. Historic 234. It's called Sudley Road in the western end of Prince William County. Dumfries in the other end, because that's where you go. You go to Sudley. And it's a vital part of our community. Just ask any Sudley United Methodist Church member. The programmatic agreement negotiated with National Park Service and VDOT discusses what can be done to minimize and mitigate just that area, the impacts of this 4 to 6 lane cargo route to Dulles on the battlefield, but does not even consider the local residents. It's been in the works between VDOT and National Park Service for more than 2 years, hidden from the community. It dictates change to our local transportation network that will bring havoc and bring our roads to gridlock. The February 2013 Commonwealth Transportation Board resolution changed the commitments the counties of Prince William County and Fairfax thought they had agreed to in November 2005. Namely, that the battlefield bypass would be completed before 234 would close. This blue area, this is up here off of Saunders, this is the county line coming down Saunders. That's the bypass. And it's alternative D where the battlefield bypass is co-located, and then it comes over to 234. This is original road right here, and then the rest is all new road. So they're not doing anything other, they're saying this is all we're doing here, folks. You don't get an alternative. So they want to do it. Okay. Why is 234 for the battlefield going to close? VDOT wants the TCP. It is the missing segment of the north-south corridor. MPS wants the battlefield roads closed from Northern Virginia Community College to Featherbed Lane. And ultimately, they actually want to get the traffic out of the park, 234 and 29. All the documents before this year, congressional acts of 1980 and 88, Board of County Supervisors in 2005, CTB resolutions in 2005 and 2006, Prince William County Transportation Plan and our comprehensive plan, and the draft environmental impact statements that are the basis, supposedly, for these roads, had input and stated that 234 would not be closed until the alternative routes were built and open. Now, VDOT, CTB, and National Park Service has switched to say 234 will be closed when the TCP is opened between I-66 and Catharpin. So, right at 234, we all know where Catharpin is. So, when it opens there, they can close 234. But that's a feather bed, not right there, but down the road a bit. And the resolution says, shall not require the completion of the Battlefield bypass or any other necessary regional transportation system improvements, mitigation, and other conditions prior to such abandonment. So that's really concerning. Next slide, please. TCP. So this pink here, this 4, that is 66 to Catharpin, and then 5 is Catharpin to 50. So that is the segment of the outer beltway that isn't built yet. So, you know, they're saying this north-south corridor of statewide significance is what we're going to get. And it hasn't been there, and so, can you go to the next shot? The previous map and this legend is in the January 2013 documentation that David Tyree gave us. And if you remember, it's the Office of Intermodal Planning, and it's an organization that isn't really VDOT, and it was started in 2002. And it's supposed to be putting transit on existing roads. This road doesn't really exist. They keep saying it's because it's on a comprehensive plan that we need it. Okay? So the entire length of that 45-mile outer beltway will affect local communities just like it's affecting us, because it's going to be a limited access road. There are going to be some other impacts because your whole traffic pattern will be changed, and there's no discussion about that. Can you change? Go back to the next slide. No, I'm sorry. That's it. The Secretary of Transportation was quoted Monday stating that the TCP will begin construction in 1 year. It keeps moving. What does that mean when the TCP is built? 234 closed between Northern Virginia Community College and south side of Featherbed Lane with the opening of the TCP in Catharpin. VDOT relinquishes maintenance and gives up right of way to MPS. Of course, you all have to, those that live on Poplar Ford and the church, and I guess Lithic and Butcher, they would have to sign paperwork, but you know, they're trying to arrange it so it gets pushed along. They didn't want us to know about, obviously know about the Commonwealth Transportation Board agendas in February. They came online on Saturday, and the meeting was on Wednesday. So no one knew about those 2 items on the agenda. Pageland 29 intersection is closed. Pageland is eliminated from approximately there to there, the cul-de-sac. So then, traffic that's coming down Gum Springs, that's what the Park Service has been complaining to Congressman Wolf about, from what I understood. And that's like 9,600 vehicles per day. 234, the segment from 29 to Featherbed, to Gum Springs there, carries like 10,000 vehicles per day. And where's that traffic going to go? It's either gonna come down here, go to Manassas, go over here, and go to Catharpin, and to go to Gainesville. So those are your choices. So Catharpin Road becomes a major cut-through for traffic going to Gainesville. 29 calming measures reduces the road capacity, so it's virtually unusable. I-66 becomes more crowded as it becomes our only alternative. Local traffic will back up across Prince William County and Northern Virginia. The 25,000 vehicles that use these abandoned roads will be diverted to I-66. For example, Virginia Oaks residents that travel down Pageland will now have to use I-66 to access TCP to go to Dulles. Why? Because right now, they are planning to have an entrance on 29 until the Battlefield bypass is built. Catharpin Road residents, they want to go to I-66. They will no longer be able to use 234 and will have to go to Heathcote or Gallier. Thank you, and say no to the TCP. I'm Mary Ann Gadman. So, is this where I should stand, so I don't shout?
Put the mic closer, yeah.
There you go.
All right. I'm a lifelong resident of Prince William County, and I'm a part of the business community. I have been a developer and a commercial real estate broker in Prince William County for 30 years. So I possess solid knowledge of marketing, economic development, land evaluation. So those are the areas that I'm going to hit on. And I want to tell you right now, what's going on is bad business, bad government, and bad planning. The reason the battle is so intense is because VDOT and the Park Service have gotten in bed together to put this road through the historic district and 6.5 miles of the rural crescent. They are bullying the residents of Prince William County in order to meet all the demands of the Park Service without any regard to what they do to our community, transportation network, or private property. Let's face it, the Pageland portion of the Tri-County Parkway is the missing link for the outer beltway, plain and simple. This road is going to affect all residents in Prince William County, from Montclair to Dominion Valley. It will turn Route 234 from Montclair past Purcell Road into the outer beltway. Sean Connaughton has said it's a road that is required from 95 for cargo to Dulles Airport. The safety of Route 234 for all residents that live along it and travel it will be negatively impacted. There will be cargo trucks, 18-wheelers traveling there 24/7. The 18-wheelers will pose a threat to everyone. Soccer moms, school buses, all of us. The roads will be unsafe. Residents and commuters that travel east to west will no longer have any options to use Pageland Lane or Route 234. So if they choose to go anywhere and they don't want to pay a toll road, they will cut through on other roads like Featherbed and Catharpin Road. Catharpin's already a dangerous and curvy road. But most significantly, the majority will have to pile on to I-66, which is already a gridlock. Your commute's going to get worse, and your property values around the Gainesville area will plummet due to traffic delays. We've seen this happen before. Before Linton Hall Road was widened to 4 lanes, it took the residents 40 minutes to get to 29. That news traveled fast. Purchasers would not consider purchasing in that corridor because they had heard about the traffic nightmares. Home sales and prices suffered. Communities, she's pushing me. Communities such as Virginia Oaks, Lake Manassas, Dominion Valley, Piedmont, and Heritage Hunt will decline and have difficulty in selling. We will suffer the same consequences because these road closures being proposed will cause tremendous traffic delays. All right, now, the timing of this road.
Well, the timing of this road changes as many times as the name. The manner in which VDOT is informing its residents is disrespectful, and it should be unlawful. But VDOT makes the rules. In January, David Tyler told us it was 20 years. March the 5th, the three of us, with Delegate Hugo, met with Sean Connaughton. He said it's several years. Well, now on Monday, Sean Connaughton says it's going to be within a year. The only thing VDOT has done right is to confuse and mislead us. Let's talk about the Rural Crescent. The Rural Crescent was established 20 years ago by the Board of Supervisors. In all the zoning cases, they have aggressively protected the Rural Crescent. They make a big deal out of no development in the rural area. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Supervisors, you are putting the outer beltway 6.5 miles through the Rural Crescent. This is a huge development. You are busting the Rural Crescent. Plain and simple. Rob Clapper from the Prince William Chamber of Commerce states in his press release on Tuesday, it's been said that the parkway would harm the Rural Crescent. However, as planned, limited access facility, the Bi-County Parkway will help preserve the protected green space. What is he drinking? Please write to the Prince William Chamber of Commerce and help them understand what's going on. When you put a cargo road through the Rural Crescent, it's not rural anymore. No one is buying their dream home farm along the I-95 outer beltway. The traffic, the noise, the pollution, there's not enough mitigation to overcome it. You can't build a highway through what Prince William County has designated as the non-development area without realizing the land use has to change. If the road's going to be built through the Rural Crescent, which we didn't ask for, then the residents and the property owners that live there, pay taxes, and have invested in this area are going to develop. The land use is going to be changed, and we want the Board of County Supervisors to state that they acknowledge that our comp plan will change if this road is located here. We want the same opportunities that the landowners in Loudoun County are getting. We will not be the sacrificial lambs. Okay, let's talk historic preservation. Why didn't the Park Service support an alternative plan that would have avoided the battlefield and the historic district? There were several different viable options. If the battlefield was being true to their cause, they would have. But, the goal here is to control the land around the battlefield, and VDOT and the Park Service are complicit in that agenda. Instead, the Park Service decided, let's make a deal. In exchange for allowing the road in the park, VDOT is paying them $3 million to buy our properties and our conservation easements. What choices will we have? When they take away Pageland Lane, they close the residents off the land, they close off all your access, the restrictions of the land that they're putting on us leave us no alternative. This is a land grab. At the March 5 Town Hall meeting, the superintendent of the Manassas Battlefield said, sacrificing the perimeter of the park is the lesser of the evils. It will allow Route 234 and 29 to be shut down to through traffic and get traffic out of the center of the park. Well, what he didn't say is there will be over 100 private properties taken and the historic Sudley Church shut off from their 700 members due to the impacts of the Tri-County Parkway. Boo! Double boo. Okay, let's talk economic development and Innovation Park. The Board of County Supervisors claims this road will lead to economic development. Well, ask them to explain how. The vast majority of the road runs through the Rural Crescent, where no economic development is allowed. Is this going to help innovation? No. Innovation Technology Park is where the Freedom Center is. And I've been here way too long because I know all the stories. It's been owned by Prince William County for over 20 years. It's been a money loser from day one. Government has no business in the development of a park and owning land. So what's causing it to fail? It's not the lack of transportation. It's located on the 234 bypass with easy access to 66 and 95. It's a half a mile from the Manassas Airport, the largest general aviation airport in Virginia. It can land Vulcan 500s, Gulfstreams. It has a 6,200-foot runway. So today I went to the Economic Development website to see how they promote innovation. They don't even mention the airport in their marketing piece. Why? Because that's in the city of Manassas, and politically, the county doesn't want to help promote the city's airport. What the heck? This airport is the largest regional airport in Virginia. Screw Dulles Airport. We have Manassas Airport. What's causing it to fail? It's the lack of professional marketing and the lack of knowing who their target market is and going after them. Innovation has not been marketed by a national commercial firm. What successful developer hands a 1,600-acre technology park to their salaried employees with the responsibility to market a project of this magnitude? None. You hire a national commercial real estate firm that specializes in these types of properties. They'll develop a market analysis for you, and they'll tell you who your market is and who to go after. And they won't do what you want them to do. They will tell you what you need to do to be successful. They know all the players, and most importantly, they only get paid if they succeed. Commission only. They will demand the first impression of this business park be the very best. Look successful in order to be successful. Well, first impressions are everything. Innovation looks like a failure. From the lack of a quality entrance feature, landscaping, and the promotion of the Hilton Performing Arts Center, with, again, has a pitiful sign as you drive down 234. It's an embarrassment. A commercial real estate broker would be on top of marketing, of making the owner, the county, get this park up to par to compete in the business world it's trying to compete in. The marketing of innovation should be a course called Bad Business, Bad Marketing 101. Okay, so the unique crisis for the Prince William County property owners only. This only affects Prince William County. And that is the critical document that was talked about a moment ago, which is the Programmatic 106. And you know this is because this 1.5 mile segment of the Pageland Tri-County Parkway is running through the historic district. Well, because of this, we have an added layer of federal government restrictions put on private land. The secrecy of the negotiations of this PA 106 since 2005 between VDOT and the park are a clear attack on property rights of citizens and residents in Prince William County who've worked hard for what they have, and our Board of County Supervisors have been made the fool by not paying attention.
Not all of them.
Not all. You weren't there. Except for him. By not paying attention to the details of this document, which will cripple commuters in the Gainesville area and further cripple I-66. Sean Connaughton is rushing to get final approval of this PA 106 because he wants his claim to fame to be the one who got the Outer Beltway approved. VDOT is agreeing, giving the park everything they want through the engineers, even though the engineers question the legality. He's giving away the farm. Well, it's not his farm to give away. There are farms. So The last thing I want to touch on is Loudoun County benefits and not Prince William County. The Loudoun County Chamber came out in support of this road because it runs through the development area of Loudoun County. They would not support the road if you tried to put it through the Plains, Middleburg, or Hume. Just ask Dominion Power how that went for them. Oh, that's right. Prince William got those power lines. We got dumped on again. Our chairman of the board, Corey Stewart, is running for lieutenant governor. In his campaign, he has an email that states, as chairman of the second largest county in the Commonwealth, I have had to make thousands of decisions in land use cases. In every case, I have made sure what I decided was consistent in my belief in the rights of landowners and personal property rights. The main point is this: the ability to own property as citizens is critical to the tenet of freedom, and our vigilance in protecting property rights can never be taken for granted. The residents of Pageland Lane and Saunders Lane need you to help them with the property rights attack with the Outer Beltway, which Corey Stewart is supporting. So the citizens of Prince William County need to email Corey Stewart and ask him if he means what he's saying in his campaign. And last but not least, I just want to personally thank the legislators who have listened to our call for help. They're here because they care and because they know we have right on our side. And we're proud, and I want to thank them very much for everything they've done.
I'm sure no one has anything to say, right? Hey, Mr. Stewart. What we're going to do is you can line up at the podium right there, and Jack here is going to give you your time, and 3 minutes. And yeah.
I'm sorry. This road obviously has going to have a big effect over our families and our schools. And I just noticed that Allison Satterwhite had come in. Would she be able to come on up here and join us
Come
on
on,
the...
Allison. Allison, we'll try to squeeze you in between people. Okay. And this is former Gainesville Supervisor John Stewart.
Paige, thank you very much. And thank you very much, Mary Ann and Philomena, for putting this together. I want to thank all the elected officials for being here as well. Hopefully some of you remember me. I was the Gainesville District Supervisor when we were prior to And I want to say that humbly, I think my time on the board, I was probably the staunchest supporter of the Rural Crescent. And I challenge that. I want to make a couple points. I don't think I'll take my full 3 minutes. First, I never supported this road. I voted against this road when the board considered this several years ago. I also vehemently opposed closing routes 29 and 234 through the battlefield. Basically, I never saw the public policy need to do either of those things. Just a historical perspective, a piece I think Delegate Marshall brought up earlier about an alternative location or an alternative route. Many of you probably don't recall or haven't been around long enough or alive long enough to remember Hurricane Agnes. Hurricane Agnes struck the area in 1972, and as a result of that, the Board of County Supervisors purchased a right-of-way, which if you look on Route 234, Business 234, where Godwin Avenue dead ends into 234, the county purchased that, if you can imagine an extension from Godwin, or continue Godwin east, all the way to Route 66, or at least to the county line, to the Bull Run Regional Park. That was going to be the original bypass. That would get traffic from Manassas City in particular onto 66 earlier. I always brought this to Sean Connaughton's attention that we should complete that road prior to ever developing anything like this or considering this. Unfortunately, the park, Bull Run Regional Park, supported this road for many, many years until about 10 years ago formally. Back in the day, prior to the development of the now Jiffy Lube Live arena, the park had envisioned an amphitheater there where they would have events as well. They thought that this road would benefit the park, and anyone who's gone to Bull Run Regional Park knows how difficult it is to get to. You can see it from 66, you just can't get there. So they thought that they would benefit from this road. The county still owns that right of way. It's a rolling meadow. Also, the ancillary benefit to that is there's many homes in the floodplain there that have suffered not only from Hurricane Agnes but from subsequent storms. They're ineligible for flood insurance because they're built in the floodplain. Back in the day, they were built in the 60s prior to a lot of the standards we have now. So, for whatever reason, we never developed that, but I always thought, let's do that road first before we ever consider something as controversial as this. So, I think my 3 minutes were up, but thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for putting this together.